Blackhawks fans, to the newest edition of the Blackhawks Central Hockey Podcast. I am Joe Vitali, flying solo today. Skokes is out in the good old Southwest, dropping his brother off at college. Uh, he's going to his younger brother's going to the University of Arizona, um, which is unfortunate because my sister graduated from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University. So fear the fork, and good luck to Skokes' brother on his collegiate journey. But today we're talking Blackhawks. So by the time you hear this episode, uh, Marian Hossa's game might already be going on. His last game, last hurrah. Uh, if you go on Twitter, social media, you'll see a bunch of the boys, Bufflin, Havlat, Toews. We'll be talking about Toews in just a second here. They're showing up in Trenton, and they're going to get this hockey done. And really cool to see those guys back out on the ice. Not entirely sure about viewing that game. Maybe there'll be a streaming option. Maybe there'll be some sites that you can go to that'll have a live feed from the stadium. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. Um, I'll keep you posted on Twitter. That's probably the best avenue to do that. And if I find out about a stream or whatnot, I'll obviously share it with you guys. Like I said, so many cool, awesome names on there. Obviously, tons of ex-Blackhawks, but then there's like Zdeno Chara and Ziggy Palffy and some other Nick Lidstrom, like Hall of Famers, and just awesome players that really like to see. So, I just mentioned the captain, Jonathan Toews, and he released a statement uh, officially closing off from the Chicago Blackhawks pretty much. But it's not a retirement letter. He's going to take a year off and then, see what his options are in free agency. If someone needs a nice veteran third line center. I can't believe I'm saying that because of all the things that Taser has done for us. 3 cups, at least 1 gold medal. I want to say maybe even 2 gold medals for the Taser. Um, and man, wow, great memes with him, and an amazing player. Everyone's been, putting out the highlight reels of him scoring. He was a net front menace, man. He was grabbing that loose change and potting it easy peas. Uh, Great face-off guy. I'm just preaching to the choir here because Jonathan Toews was just a great, great player, and was happy that he gave me all those memories as a sports fan. So sad to see him leave. I think he would be a really good uh, benefit to Connor Bedard, but that avenue is closed. The door is shut. It's locked. He's not coming back to the Blackhawks, and it's unfortunate. But wish him all the best in free agency. Hopefully this year off, he can kind of figure some things out and get his body into order, and then maybe we'll see him back on the ice in a year. And speaking of next year there's a good amount of high quality, high caliber uh, UFAs, and the one leading the charge is obviously Austin Matthews. And as far as I know, he hasn't come to a consensus. He hasn't come together with management. Brad Treliving, first year as Toronto's GM, he hasn't come to an agreement on a contract extension yet. And so, you're probably looking at 4 years for him. I think he still wants, like that bridge deal where he's still getting boatloads of cash, but then he's going to get even more money as the salary cap goes up, and then with that term too. So, he says he loves playing uh, in Toronto and that he's going to be back. So, uh, I wouldn't put that. I won't. I'll take his word for it. Um, that Toronto is the highest, according to Forbes. It's the highest uh, franchise worth in the league. And Toronto, the other teams kind of look to Toronto and use them as a bank sometimes. You'll see them, just in that was the Robin Lehner trade from Blackhawks to the Vegas Golden Knights. They funneled a little bit of money, that is the Toronto Maple Leafs, for a fifth round pick, I want to say. And you know, their facilities, top end, and it's just they can't get over that first round hump. They got over it last season. They got a lot of character guys, a lot of locker room guys, and guys with grit in the off season. Revo, Max Domi, Tyler Bertuzzi, they all play with an edge. Tyler Bertuzzi, the most skilled out of all of them, obviously. Um, and we'll see how that ends up for them. Might it might like kind of with Revo, it might be a deterrent in the regular season, but I'm not entirely sure if that's going to translate to the postseason because I think Revo might be a healthy scratch. You want, he plays that playoff style of hockey, but he's not going to be putting points on the board, and you really need points in the playoffs. Obviously, that's when they matter the most because it's win or go home. So um, we'll definitely see how it shakes out for them. Um, but yeah, so Taves, he put his original statement, um, and then uh, he did a clarifying statement to make sure that everyone knows that he's not retired. And then we're talking about those free agents. Austin Matthews leading the charge. We got into the Toronto Maple Leafs kind of, it was a doozy. So, like Austin Matthews and William Nylander, both from the Toronto Maple Leafs, are probably your highest end free agents coming next off season. But you'll see a lot of players know, okay, well, Blackhawks have Bedard. They've got 8 picks. They drafted 8 players in the 2022 draft, and then they added even more players. I want to say like 11, I think, to in 2023, and one of those being Connor Bedard. So obviously, Bedard is going to bring over those free agents, and people want to play with Bedard. I mean, but the guy hasn't set foot on the ice yet, and I think I want to temper those expectations just a little bit. I still think he's probably going to get in the 70 point range and definitely be up for the Calder. And I also think the Blackhawks are ready to compete probably in 2 years for the playoffs, maybe that eighth seed. And I don't think this coming season the Hawks are going to be that bad. Bottom 10 in the league, probably 8 to 10. Um, you know, I I don't really see them that bad, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the Hawks need to go out and get these high caliber free agents. Would Austin Matthews on the Chicago Blackhawks be awesome? Yes. Yes, it would. That would be so cool to have like a 1-2 of Matthews, like probably be Matthews, Bedard, assuming he stays at the center position. We'll obviously find that out this season. But a little bit of a smaller guy, very shifty, but you don't really see those really like Austin Matthews, for example, 6'3", you know, amazing centerman. Same thing, Connor McDavid. I want to say he's around 6'2". Leon Draisaitl, 6'3", I think, 6'4". These are big boys. Uh, Artem Anisimov, he was like 6'5". That's a throwback name for all you guys. Jonathan Toews, he wasn't huge, but I still think he's like 6'1", 6'2". really solid in those and strong on his skates. So we'll see where Connor Bedard ends up, but having like maybe he goes to the wing, so it'd be Bedard, Matthews, pick a guy. I'm not really sure the Hawks have that winger in the system. Um, maybe I think Lucas Reichel is left wing center, so that's not going to work out up over there. Uh, I just don't see a top line right winger really in the Blackhawks organization right now. I could be wrong. I could be missing someone for sure. Or maybe some guys will, maybe that were gotten in the third, fourth rounds, maybe they become like a Braden Point type guy or a Brandon Hagel type guy. So, when you're seeing that, um, you know, it would be nice. The Hawks would be stacked, but you're gonna have to, Bedard when his ELC is up, you're gonna bridge him, but you're still gonna bridge him for like $9.5 million. So, and then Austin Matthews is gonna want $14 million, and right there you're at almost a quarter of the cap in two players. Toronto's doing it right now. They got the big four and making like 60% of their cap, and it's not working. The regular season goats, but like the regular season doesn't matter. You want Lord Stanley's Cup. So I think, it's a cool exercise. It's fun to see like, oh yeah, Austin Matthews and Connor Bedard on the same team, dude. That'd be so sick. But I just don't think where hockey is right now with the salary cap. Only when it's been the flat cap for the last couple seasons, only going up $1 million. And they say like next year it's going to be like 4.5, but that's still like, okay, well then people are already GMs and administrators. The brass are already uh, penciling that money in. Okay, we'll overpay this guy, this third liner or whatever, and then but it's coming off the cap. Cap's going up, so it's like the Blackhawks aren't really in that situation because past next year, I think it's like Seth Jones and Connor Murphy are like the only guys on the roster. I think probably Andreas Athanasiou and Ryan Donato are also in that, but four guys, four forwards, it's not going to work. And then you're going to have a bunch of kids on their ELCs, and you need that veteran presence to really meld that all together. But also, we've seen, especially with the Blackhawks, you need those ELCs to push you over the edge. So Connor Bedard's still going to be in his ELC. That's really good, less than $1 million. Um, uh, on the cap, that is. He's probably getting, we went over this in a couple episodes ago. He's probably getting like 4.5 million, which is good, but still not enough for a generational player like Connor Bedard. I digress. Um, so, and then I saw, the news cycle is really, it's August. August and hockey season, they don't really mix. Oil and water, nothing really goes on. So, I saw an article on Reddit, our Hawks, and some guy like posted it and was like, "Hey, here are like three goalies the Blackhawks could trade for," and now they could for sure, but along with signing free agents to like max deals, huge deals, maybe lower term but big money. Uh, you know, there's no reason to start spending assets right now. And I know I said that the Hawks are probably in two seasons, not this upcoming season, but next season, gonna push for like an eighth seed playoff spot, wild card playoff spot. But I talked about the assets that they've gotten, the players they've drafted and whatnot, but there's no reason to spend assets right now. You don't have player, past next season or the season after, it's the Hawks don't have enough players. So they're going to have to sign some free agents. They're going to let some kids take the next step. You're going to see Frank Nazar sooner rather than later, 20 years old. He got robbed of his first season because of injury. So he's going to go back and then he's going to come on by. Marcel, he was playing in the Q. He's big guy, 6'3", 6'4", I want to say, and plays a hard-nosed physical game. Well, he was playing in the QMJHL, which just banned fighting. So he's probably thinking to himself, okay, well, the way I play is not frowned upon in the QMJHL, but it's less effective. He's going to be less effective with the no fighting rules and the punishment for said fighting. So that probably was a factor into him coming into the AHL where he can be a little bit more rough and tumble. And I think it's a great move for his uh, development and getting into pro games, playing pro puck. And the AHL is obviously a development league. It's the biggest feeder league, and in some ways it might even be a little bit more competitive than the AHL. Some NHLers, your Kane, your Toews, your even like a Marcus Kruger, a David Kampf. These guys are NHLers, and they provide specific roles for your team. Maybe they're not really battling. I mean, maybe a David Kampf and a Marcus Kruger are battling a little bit to stay in the lineup, but they're getting they're going to get minutes, and uh, and some guys they get complacent and they're cool. Hey, I'm playing I'm playing in the show, and they're not going to take me away because I'm too good. I understand. Uh, in the AHL, everyone's battling for a spot, and uh, there's obviously only so many spots to go around. So you're going to see some of those guys in the AHL. Obviously Lucas Reichel, he's going to be graduating the AHL. Maybe like a Jalen Lipin, uh, maybe like Paul Ludwinski. On the back end, tons of options, tons of options. The best available player in the recent drafts has been D-men. So we are set on D prospects. I think we need some more right side defensemen, more right shot defensemen as well. Those guys are really valuable. And so then maybe we can fill that out with vets, in your middle and bottom pairs. That can be done by free agency. You're probably going to see like an Isaac Phillips too. You're going to see a Korchinski for a little bit, but then he's going to go back to the dub and tear it up. So this all came about because of this article that I think is kind of just stupid, I guess, for a lack of a better word. The three goaltenders, by the way, were Hellebuck, Saros, and John Gibson. Um, John Gibson, you're not going to want because he still has a lot of term on his uh, on his contract, and he's not playing to that level, and he's not really like elite anymore. And you've seen what he does with a bad defense in the Anaheim Ducks. The Anaheim Ducks defense was one of the worst. It was like AHLers playing in the NHL, and riddled with injuries and stuff, which you can't do anything about. But you know, you've seen what he wants to win, and the Blackhawks are still rebuilding, and they're not going to be ready for him yet. And plus, I don't really you don't want to spend assets, especially when you have Adam Gajan and Drew Comesso and Arvid Soderblom in waiting right now. So Mrazek is going to finish this season out, and then next season, you're probably going to have to start not worrying, but you're going to look for a free agent goaltender and which hey, by the way, Connor Hellebuck is available. He's a UFA. He wants like and Andre Vasilevsky money right now, and I think he's like 31. So, and the acquisition cost to get him, you're talking about top players and top prospects. And the Blackhawks do not need to give up any of those things. We just got them. We haven't even seen what they're going to do for us yet in the NHL. So, Connor Hellebuck acquisition cost too high, and he wants long-term Vasilevsky money and to go to a team that competes. UC Saros, undersized guy, really athletic, really good, really good. Also, Winnipeg is in the Central. You don't make interdivisional trades very often, which also brings me to the Nashville Predators, just as I was saying, in the Central, one of the main rivals. I detest the Nashville Predators. Do not like them at all. I think their jerseys used to be puke colored, and I just don't like them. I think they always try and keep block the red out and stuff. They always do those really stupid ticket packages to try and get as many Preds fans there. No, don't like it. Uh, and their like chant is "You suck." Wow, original, cool. I throw in a catfish on the ice. All right, fine, cool. It's a nice little thing. You got Detroit with the octopi, so whatever. But I don't like the Preds, and I'm going to make that known. UC Saros, great goaltender, little undersized. Once again, the acquisition cost is going to be too high, and it's with an interdivisional rival. So no. And I went over Gibson, so none of that. Maybe there have been some other things, just some good thought exercises about UFAs that the Hawks might get. But once again, not going to get any pending UFAs because we're going to have to give up assets. The Hawks are going to have to give up assets, and we are not in a give up asset mode right now. Maybe I believe next season the Hawks have like 5 second-round picks or something ridiculous, and uh, that's nice. You can turn those picks into, maybe you want to get up into the first round if there's like some kid who's really going to knock your socks off. Uh, I would have liked the Hawks to do that. Maybe take one of the later picks and then move up into the second or into the late in the first round and pick up like Andrew Cristal. Like he's Connor Bedard's best bud. We went over that in the draft preview. So you could do that, or you can take those picks and get some veterans and middle six veteran good guys, and you could spend those when you have surpluses like that because there's no reason to I mean, not there's no reason, but making 5 second round picks, it's a little much when you're thinking of like top 5 overall are going to play in the league the next season. That's not really been the case as of late, but you think of that top 5, maybe stretch it to that top 8 are going to be able to play, but otherwise everyone else is going back to junior. So when you have all those second round picks, if you're making all those picks, they're all going to be back to junior, and then you're not going to see them for probably 2 to 3 years. Which it's nice to have the talent come in waves, which is what Kyle Davidson is trying to do right now, and spread them out so you can spread those contracts out. You can only have 50 contracts, only 23 roster spots. So you want to keep them going so that they have all that time to be competitive. Think of the dynasty era. You have Kane in '06. Sorry, Toews '06, Kane '07, and then you had your Keiths, Seabrooks, Bufflins, Shaws, Bickles. You had all those guys come in and go forward leading to those 3 cups, 10, 13, 15. Love to see it. Should have been 13, 14, 15, 1 goal away. Bounces off Nick Leddy. Because any team coming in the West was winning that cup in 14 no matter what. Um, oh, I'm not bitter. Yeah, I'm not bitter. I am. That sucks. Oh well, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Uh, we had our fun, and so just uh, uh, temper the expectation, Blackhawks fans. Be excited. There's tons to be excited about. Connor Bedard is a Chicago Blackhawk, and he's playing next season, this coming season. It's going to be a blast. Hawks are going to be bottom 8, so they're going to get a high draft pick. It's the lottery. Anything can happen. You saw it when the Blackhawks got Connor Bedard. You know, are they going to get, oh gosh, I can't remember the number 1 guy coming up. Italian name, plays for the Chicago Steel, going to Boston University. I can name all these things. I don't remember his name. Oh well. Are they going to get him? Could they get him? Yes, that would be awesome. Add it to the cabinet. But you know, the talent's coming in waves. You're gonna see, you know, Frank Nazar, Oliver Moore. These guys are coming soon. Uh, on the back end, Kevin Korchinski. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun, and be excited for this season. Just and it's gonna be a great time thinking about, oh, what if the Blackhawks got Austin Matthews? Man, that would be crazy. Not realistic. Awesome though. Oh well, Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid are up as well. Um, you know, Connor McDavid on the Hawks. Wow, that would be awesome. But I think he likes the solitude in Edmonton, and he's their guy. He's their Gretzky. So this has been this edition of the Blackhawks Central Hockey Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Vitali, going solo. Skoke's on vacation. I hope you enjoyed this episode. When this episode drops, Marian Hossa's game will be being played. So I'll keep you guys updated on maybe if there's a stream that we can watch it on, because I love to see Big Buff on the ice. Man, he is one of my favorite players. I've said it time and time again. Love watching that guy play. Really sucks that it ended the way it did for him. And oh well, go Hawks. Bedard season. Be excited. And we'll catch you next time on the Blackhawks Central Hockey Podcast. Go Hawks.